Hello there, you're with NDTV. I'm Siddiqui. Our top story. Almost 2 months after 11 men convicted of raping Bilkis Bano and killing her family during the 2002 Gujarat riots shockingly walked out of prison, it has emerged that the Gujarat state government and the centre ignored multiple red flags and objections raised to approve their release. First, the shock of these images of 11 rape and murder convicts walking free. Now, court documents. This 470-page Gujarat government affidavit further sheds light on how the Bilkis 11 got early release. The documents show that the centre approved the release within 2 weeks of the Gujarat government asking for their recommendation. The Gujarat government wrote to the centre on the 28th of June about the convicts' release. The centre greenlit the release on 11 July without citing any reasons for doing so. In a one-page order, the Ministry of Home Affairs cleared the release of all 11 men. It also shows that the CBI and a special CBI judge in Mumbai had vetoed the release, but this was ignored. The CBI had called the crime heinous, grave and serious. The judge had called it the worst form of hate crime and said that they do not deserve premature release. Moreover, it seems that the men were out on parole or furlough leaves often, having enjoyed over 1,000 days of parole, adding up to 3 to 4 years. On the campaign trail in Gujarat, the union minister defended the early release of the men, saying it was done as per law.
I have said no. When the government and the concerned people have taken decision, I don't want to make any comment on that, and I don't find anything wrong in that because it is done as per the process of the law.
But in the tweet, Rahul Gandhi said,
grant of premature release to the convicts in the Bilkis Bano case is a stain on this government, a stain whose legacy can never and will never wash off.
Supreme Court has adjourned the hearing on the pleas challenging the premature release of the convicts in the Bilkis Bano case to November 29, asking the petitioners to respond to the counter affidavit filed by the Gujarat government. With Srinivasan Jain, Tanushree Pandey and camera person Pavan Kumar, this is Arvind Gunasekar for NDTV.
Well, and the Delhi delimitation exercise seems to have been done now. The government has issued a notification. Out of 250 seats in the municipal body, 42 have been reserved for the scheduled caste. Neeta Sharma is now joining us with more details. Neeta, does this pave the way for municipal elections then?
Absolutely correct, Maha. The ball has been set rolling by the centre. Earlier, the MCD polls were originally scheduled for April, but they were put off hours before the elections were scheduled to be announced. The exercise now already has begun. In fact, the MCD has already started preparations for civic polls. On Monday, it had released a list of nodal officers and also sub-nodal officer for all zones for municipal elections. But this notification is very important, Earlier, there were 272 wards, but now the wards have been reduced to 250. So this is an important development as far as Delhi politics is concerned, because earlier also Aam Aadmi Party had leveled allegations that centre wanted to control MCD, and that is why these elections were put off. So obviously from tomorrow another ring of showdown will start between Bharatiya Janata Party and Aam Aadmi Party. But it's an important development, and as you correctly say, the elections are now, going to be announced soon enough as far as the Delhi MCD is also concerned.
All right, Neeta, do stay on with us. We have another story, and we'll get Neeta back on that as well. Photojournalist Sanna Mattoo, who was recently honoured with the Pulitzer Prize, was once again stopped at the Delhi airport from boarding a flight to the US. In a tweet, Mattoo said that she was barred despite having a visa and tickets. Neeta is still with us, getting us more details. Neeta, what information do we have on this?
She herself has, in fact, given out this statement. She has tweeted it out that she was stopped, and immigration officials did not give her any reason as to why she was stopped from boarding the flight. But, our sources tell us that there is a no-flying list which has been prepared by Jammu Kashmir Police State CID department, which has been circulated. And as per that list, it seems that Sanna was also on that list, and that is why she was stopped. And as for why she was stopped, no reason has been elaborated as to why she was stopped. But there's this list which is there, which has been drafted by the state CID. Our sources tell us, based on those reports, she was stopped. And this is for the second time, Maha, that she has been stopped. Earlier also, she was stopped in July when she had to fly to Paris. And this time, she has again been stopped from flying out of India.
All right, Neeta, getting us all those details there. Many thanks. Let's move on now. There was a change of guard in the BCCI and Roger Binny has replaced Saurav Ganguly as the president. The rest of the new panel was either a politician or a politically connected administrator. Despite the Prime Minister's claims of having freed sport from politics, the reality looks different.
Roger Binny, a hero of India's historic 1983 World Cup, is now president of Indian cricket. The 67-year-old replaces another legend, Saurav Ganguly, whose exit has been controversial.
The new group will take BCCI forward. BCCI is in great hands. Indian cricket is strong, so I wish them all the luck.
However, Binny is the only national player in the top cricket board. The big winners are politicians, mainly BJP or BJP-linked ones. Jai Shah, the secretary, is son of Amit Shah, who was re-inducted for a second term. The new BJP entrant is Ashish Shelar. A BJP MLA from Bandra West is now BCCI's treasurer. Shelar replaces Arun Dhumal, the new IPL chairman, who is India's sports minister's brother and ex-Himachal Pradesh BJP CM's son. Another new entrant is Devajit Saikia as BCCI joint secretary, a close aide and childhood friend of Assam's BJP chief minister. The one constant, the great survivor, remains Congress's Rajiv Shukla, who is vice president.
In this country, the belief is we want a democracy without a politician. That doesn't happen. So we have to accept the fact, in case we want to live in a democracy, we have to respect our politician and we have to elect the respectful and worthy people to those positions.
The NCP, whose chief Sharad Pawar dominated Indian cricket for some years, backed the BJP's Shelar, claiming there's no politics in cricket.
हे सगळे लोक तिथं बसल्यानंतर राजकारण करत नाही. खेळामध्ये राजकारण हे कुणीही त्या ठिकाणी करत नाही. ही वस्तुस्थिती आहे, फॅक्ट आहे. उगीचच त्याला एक वेगळ्या पद्धतीचं, आता पवार साहेब ज्यावेळेस तिथं होते त्यावेळेस पण आशिष शेलार तिथं असायचे. आता आशिष शेलार आहेत, त्याच्यामध्ये इतर पण काही सहकारी आहेत.
Posters of Ashish Shelar congratulating for his induction into BCCI are lining up the streets of Mumbai. Such scenes were unheard of in the past, even when Sharad Pawar, at the peak of his political career, helmed the BCCI. But today's politicians want to do their own brand building through association with cricket, and they're all in it together, cutting across party lines.
Following this week's changes in the BCCI, Jai Shah has made it clear that the Indian cricket team will not travel to Pakistan for next year's Asia Cup, but will play at a neutral location. Saurav Ganguly's removal has also seen the return of N. Srinivasan, ex-BCCI president and Chennai Super Kings owner, as a dominant player. 3 years ago, the BJP-backed Saurav Ganguly defeated Srinivasan's candidate Brijesh Patel at the last minute and became chief. Now Ganguly appears out of favour, with only the West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee calling for his nomination as India's candidate for the election as Chief of World Cricket. In Mumbai, with Sohit Mishra, Rika Roy for NDTV.
Well, and 6 years after Jayalalitha's death, who was the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, the inquiry commission constituted by the then ruling AIADMK has recommended investigation into her friend Shashikala and 3 others, including the then Health Minister Dr. Vijay Bhaskar and Chief Secretary, for lapses, including not taking her abroad for treatment, despite recommendation by experts. Sam Daniel reports.
Jayalalitha's death continues to haunt Sasikala. The Arumbagaswamy Inquiry Commission report shared in the Tamil Nadu Assembly today says the two did not have a cordial relationship since 2012. The report presented to the Stalin government in August questions why doctors, despite expert recommendations, did not take Jayalalithaa abroad for treatment. Jayalalithaa had perforation in her heart, and experts from AIIMS and Dr. Richard Beale from the UK had recommended an angiogram and treatment abroad. The report states that Jayalalitha's treatment remained exclusively in Sasikala's control, along with a coterie of doctors and relatives.
There is material and evidence to state that it is a collective decision of the doctors, all doctors, and concurrence of the AIIMS hospital, team of doctors, sent by the central government. At this stage, this is not proper. In a later stage, we can do this. Nowhere it has stated that Mrs. Sasikala has interfered in it.
The commission also finds criminality against the then Chief Secretary Dr. Rama Mohan Rao and recommends an investigation against Sasikala, Jayalalitha's personal physician Dr. Shivakumar, the then Health Secretary Dr. J. Radhakrishnan and Health Minister Vijay Bhaskar. The commission rejected the AIIMS Medical Board's report and accuses Apollo Hospital's chairman Dr. Pratap Reddy of giving false statements about Jayalalitha's condition. The hospital is yet to respond. Some under the scanner called the Inquiry Commission's report full of falsehood. The ruling DMK plans to consult legal experts for the next course of action. But politically, this could turn the heat on Sasikala and the present AIADMK leadership, including a few former ministers, for what the report calls lapses. However, the former judge says he will respond only after a few days. In Chennai with Suresh, Sam Daniel, Find TV.
Now, the Tamil Nadu Assembly adopted a resolution urging the centre to not implement the reported recommendation by the Parliamentary Committee on Official Language headed by Home Minister Amit Shah to make Hindi the medium of instruction in educational institutions run by the Union Government. The resolution was moved by Chief Minister MK Stalin, who had earlier in a statement told the centre to not impose another language war. The BJP has, however, claimed that the recommendation only applies to institutions in Hindi-speaking states.
இந்திய அரசியல் சட்டத்திற்கு எதிரானது. இந்தியாவின் ஒருமைப்பாட்டுக்கு பேராபத்தை விளைவிக்கக்கூடியது என்பதால் பின்வரும் தீர்மானத்தை நான் முன்மொழிகிறேன். அன்னை தமிழ் மொழியை காத்திட, ஆங்கிலம் அலுவல் மொழியாக தொடர்ந்திட, ஏன் அரசமைப்பு சட்டத்தின் 8வது அட்டவணையில் உள்ள 22 மொழிகளையும் அழியாது காத்திட, இந்தி பேசாத மாநில மக்களின் உரிமைகளை நிலைநாட்டிட தமிழ்நாடு மீண்டும் முன்னோடி மாநிலமாக நின்றிடும் நிலை ஏற்பட்டிருக்கிறது. அலுவல் மொழி தொடர்பான பாராளுமன்ற குழு தலைவர் அவர்களால் கடந்த 9/9/2022 அன்று மாண்புமிகு குடியரசுத் தலைவர் அவர்களிடம் அளிக்கப்பட்டுள்ள அறிக்கையில் தமிழ் உள்ளிட்ட மாநில மொழிகளுக்கும் அம்மொழிகளை பேசும் மக்களின் நலனுக்கு.
All right, turning our attention to some other stories now. The Delhi High Court has dismissed the bail plea filed by Umar Khalid in connection with the 2020 Delhi riots case. A two-judge bench of Justices Siddharth Mridul and Rajneesh Bhatnagar said that it did not find any merit in Khalid's bail plea. Umar Khalid, an activist, was a member of the Jawaharlal Nehru Students' Union and was arrested on the 13th of September in 2020. He is facing charges under the stringent Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, that's the UAPA. Khalid, Sharjeel Imam and several others were booked under the anti-terror law and the Indian Penal Code for allegedly being the masterminds of the protests and riots in Delhi's Jamia area in northeast Delhi in December 2019 and February 2020. Violence had erupted in these areas during protests against the Citizenship Amendment Act, CAA, and the National Register of Citizens, NRC, which left 53 people dead and over 700 injured. And a chopper carrying pilgrims to Kedarnath crashed. 7 people were killed in that crash. The reason for the crash is believed to be, as per initial reports, poor weather and bad visibility.
Hello.
A horrifying case now from Noida where a stray dog mauled an infant. This was at a housing society and the infant was mauled by the stray dog, died because of the injuries. There were massive protests after the 7-month-old baby's death. outrage in Noida after a 1-year-old toddler, the child of a construction worker, was mauled to death by stray dogs inside a gated housing society in Noida. Eyewitnesses recount the horror.
आज उनके ऊपर ऐसे बीत रहा है तो कल हमारे ऊपर भी है। प्लस मुझे जो बच्चा को देखी हो ना, क्या बताऊं, उस बच्चे को देख के हम जो आधा घंटा वहाँ ही बैठ गए।
The Noida police confirmed the death of the child, saying that it had received a memo from a private hospital where the child was taken by the residents of the society. Doctors say that the intestines of the child were pulled out and he died after undergoing a surgery early this morning. Soon after the incident, the police said that 4 stray dogs were relocated to a nearby shelter home. Residents blame the local civic body for failing to sterilize stray dogs despite 3 incidents of stray dog attacks reported in the society in the past 5 months, as per the residents.
हम लोगों ने कार्रवाई शुरू की। पहले हमने स्टरलाइजेशन शुरू किया, दूसरे पे फिर हमने ये शुरू किया कि अगर डॉग बाइट कोई डॉग जो है बार बार काट रहा है तो उसको जो है ले जाके शेल्टर होम में रखना और 1 महीने तक उसको सुधारना और उसके बाद वापस छोड़ना। चूंकि माननीय न्यायालय के ऐसी गाइडलाइंस हैं, हम कुत्ते को पूरी तरीके से कहीं से भी डिस्पोजेस नहीं कर सकते हैं।
After the Supreme Court upheld the Delhi High Court's order that citizens have the right to feed stray dogs, their feeding and caring has become a hugely divisive issue in urban neighborhoods.
वो कानून की बात करते हैं, हम हमारे बच्चों की बात करते हैं। वो कहते हैं जो कानून की गाइडलाइंस में होगा हम वो काम करेंगे, हम उनके भरोसे अपने बच्चा नहीं छोड़ेंगे। कल यहाँ दूसरा कुत्ता बच्चे को काट जाए और वो मर जाए, उसका जिम्मेवार कौन होगा?
The anti-dog campaign is in fact counterproductive because what it does is it attacks the feeders on the mistaken assumption that non-feeding, lack of feeding will reduce somehow the population. That's not what happens. In fact, if you feed a dog, there is no way that a dog will attack. A well-fed dog is not going to be aggressive.
Well, the long-drawn debate around stray dogs and the menace caused by them has been reopened again. Residents here in this gated society of Noida, furious, say that it is the Noida authorities' incompetence to implement humane animal birth control measures already in place. In Noida, with camera person Sushil Rathi, Vedant for NDTV.
Well, and the 7 Moons of Mali Almeida by Shehan Karunatilaka has won the Booker Prize. The book is a supernatural satire set in the backdrop of the Sri Lankan Civil War. The novel is about a photographer who wakes up dead with a week to ask his friends to find his photos and expose the brutality of the war. Karunatilaka said that he hopes that in the not-too-distant future, Sri Lanka would have understood that the ideas of corruption and race-baiting and cronyism have not worked and will never work.